Welcome to the 10-Minute Mind Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Janet Cagle, certified life coach, weight loss coach, and lover of all things related to upleveling my life and yours. My goal is to help you get one step closer to your goal, whatever it is. My goal is not to keep you wrapped up in self-help all day, just 10 minutes. And who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? Hey friend, welcome back to the podcast. I'm recording this episode on March 23rd, and last week was St. Patrick's Day, and so I had a lot of thoughts about luck and feeling lucky. And I'm going to give you a goals update towards the end, so hang with me. So let me ask you, are you feeling lucky, or do you feel a little down on your luck? Just check in with yourself and see what comes up. Really notice the words and the phrases that you use to describe your life. As the editor-in-chief of your life, you get to decide what words and phrases you get to set the tone for your life. Creating a life by design requires that you make edits if the words and the tone and the phrases don't align with how you want to experience your life. A few nights ago, I was feeling a little what I would call melancholy, and I started thinking about how fortunate and blessed Steve and I are, and some would say that we are even lucky. Over the past few months especially, I noticed that when we have discussions about things going on in our life, we never talk about our circumstances in terms of misfortune or bad luck, even when unfortunate things happen like injury or illness or, like this time of year, taxes. Our sentences start out with, "We are so lucky," or "lucky for us," or "can you believe our luck?" That's exactly how we think and how we talk. I know that sometimes it's hard to feel lucky, especially with so much going on. And so I thought it would be fun to talk about how you can create your own luck and good fortune. Let's kick it off with a quote by me. Luck does not discriminate. Luck is the residual of intentional thinking, aligned action, and meticulous mind management. This is episode number 53 and 4 ways to create your own luck. Luck is always and always has been available to you, my friend, and here is how. Number 1, intentional and purposeful thinking. Lucky people think intentional thoughts. How many of you can catch yourself thinking, "I just can't get a break," or "things like this always happen to me," or "just when I think I'm going to get ahead," or "it figures, it's just my luck"? Listen, we are human. Even my brain throws those thoughts to me, but creating a life by design requires that we catch ourselves and interrupt that thought model and go do a thought edit, because think about how those thoughts feel. Pretty crappy, right? Imagine what kind of action you would be fueled by when you're thinking thoughts like, "I just can't catch a break." Most likely, those thoughts are going to fuel zero action. These are the kind of thoughts that have us throwing in the towel and going to bed with a box of ding-dongs, right? Now, for sure, it's not that bad things don't happen to lucky people, but lucky people have a distinct way of looking at the circumstance, so they see all of the good fortune right in the midst of everything going on all around them. When Steve had his medical emergency, and as traumatic as that was, the first thing we said was how lucky for all of us that all of these people decided years ago to sacrifice their time and their money and all of their efforts so that they could be present on this day to save his life. The thoughts that you think create the energy in which you move through your life. The energy in which you move through your life is what attracts your life to you. The energy of "I can't catch a break," or "if it weren't for bad luck," is the story that you take into your future, and that is what you will create more of. Being lucky does not mean that you are exempt from the 50-50 of life, but you face it all with the energy of how you want to experience your life, even the bad stuff. Number 2, lucky people make things happen. Lucky people are not sitting on the couch hoping for their life to somehow become extraordinary. They are actionators. I don't even know if that's a word, but it should be. They aren't waiting to be in the mood. They decide, they just do it, and they get results. That's it. They don't tell themselves a story they aren't motivated, so they must wait on the motivation. They don't entertain the notion that they lack discipline, and they don't buy into the story that they can't focus. They decide, they do, they get results. Now, that's not to say that lucky people don't fail. A lot. Lucky people fail all the time. I have said at least 1,000 times that I am so lucky to have Dutch as my dressage partner, but here's the deal. He's not a perfect horse, and I am not a perfect rider. In order to perfect our elements in dressage, we must be willing to be bad at first, and then we work on getting better. I bet I have asked for 100 counter canners, and for the most part, they are dreadful, but occasionally we get a good one. In the grand scheme of things, we will always be on the side of failing more than succeeding. Lucky people are not afraid to fail hundreds of times in the process of creating their outcome. It is the luckiest of all who are the hardest working and the most diligent people you will ever know. There is a direct correlation between the harder you work, the luckier you get. All right, number 3, be curious. Lucky people are curious about the how, but not emotionally attached to the how. Lucky people don't have to know the how before they take action. They just know what they want, and they stay focused on that. Here is what is so fascinating about how our brain works. As soon as we commit to doing something, our brain starts showing us all the possibilities and all of the opportunities. If we are willing to stay open to all of them, we will figure it out. In the beginning, all we have is our instinct, and we can use that to determine which path might be the right way. A lucky person isn't sidelined if the path doesn't work out. They just look for the next opportunity, and they take that path. When we get emotionally tied to how it's all going to unfold, we miss out on the things that the universe is available to teach us on our journey. If you remember, as soon as I said I wanted to go for my second level dressage scores, it was 2 weeks out of the saddle, and every moment that I can ride is important. My brain works just like yours, so when I noticed the thought, well, isn't that just my luck, and I should have known, I went to work on them. Instead of feeling sidelined and derailed, I got curious about another path. I discovered the magic of working him on the ground at Liberty. This work has added depth to our connection, and I found a new way to gain confidence and keep things moving forward. I would not have known this if he would have stayed rideable. I'm happy to report that we are back in the saddle and still shooting for April 24th as our first attempt at the second level scores. Finally, number 4, be flexible. Lucky people are flexible and they are resilient. I think of Thomas Edison and his famous quote, "I have not failed. I have found 10,000 ways that won't work." Can you imagine if he had not been flexible in changing his approach? This is really the epitome of a lucky person, the resilience, the flexibility, not getting emotionally attached to how. For sure, he didn't know how. In fact, 10,000 times he didn't know how. He didn't sit on the couch waiting to be inspired or motivated. He took action. He didn't let failure define him. He learned each time. So many times when we are faced with an obstacle, we look at it as a sign that we have taken a wrong turn or that we shouldn't be pursuing that goal. Trust me, my brain throws me those thoughts too, but they are just for your consideration, and there are several other thoughts available to you too that are much more productive and creative. An obstacle is an opportunity to learn about a new approach, and it's an opportunity to stretch yourself in an area that you may otherwise not even pay attention to. For sure, an obstacle does not mean that you are not lucky. If you've been feeling a little down on your luck, give this episode a few listens and implement some of the notions and see if your luck doesn't start changing. All right, my friend, that's what I have for you. Now, go have the best week ever. That's a wrap of the 10-Minute Mind Shift podcast. I hope that you were able to experience your own mind shift today. Listen, if you're ready to take this work to the next level, I highly recommend Life by Design Academy. It's my one-on-one coaching program that offers you a transformation at the speed of life.